We are headed to San Marcos, Texas, where Miles and Henry and their band Holding Space need an ass-kicking from Jon Taffer to revamp their bar, Kiva. Kevin and I are here to talk all about the episode of Bar Rescue coming up right after this.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bar Rescue After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. You are, in fact, hearing Holding Space himself. Not bad.
It's not bad.
A little Red Hot Chili Peppers, maybe.
Okay. Better than I thought it would be.
Better than I thought it would be. But I think Miles and Henry had some surprises up their sleeves throughout this episode. Or do you feel like they were totally predictable?
I guess, Jeff, because I've seen so many of these.
Yeah.
I would feel, rather predictable. What was unpredictable to you? They got a free bar and they were happy.
Yeah,
where was the part that was unpredictable?
There was like 3 moments that truly shocked me as a Bar Rescue viewer. And I wonder if we save those for our overall thoughts, Kev, just in case we have new viewers who want to get to know who we are before we dive in. We just get so excited, guys, because this is in fact AfterBuzz TV, and this is in fact the Bar Rescue After Show, where we bring you all our thoughts on Bar Rescue week after week. If this is your first time tuning into the network, guys, we're so glad you're here. We are the premier TV coverage network online, and of course, we're here to talk about Bar Rescue. Today we covered Season 6, Episode 32, called Kiva Lounge and Bar, which is, of course, where Miles and Henry are based in San Marcos, Texas. San Marcos, California. Excuse me, we've been in Texas. We're now in California. And my name is Jeff Graham, guys. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm joined by my trusty co-conspirator, Keven Undergaro.
I'm okay, it's going to sound cliche. I'm still blown away by the show.
Yeah, always.
Because I'm so entertained. But we are hundreds of episodes in now.
I know. We're hundreds of episodes into this season alone.
Okay, this season, there was one soft one that I recall.
Yeah.
But I've gotten a very nice mix.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like next week we have someone who looks deliciously psychotic just in his eyes. But I'm thrilled. I love this. I mean, Vic Vega said it. The things he hadn't seen in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We're still seeing new things, and I don't know. I loved it. But Jeff, you be honest now. You were not as enthusiastic about this episode as I was.
I liked it. I think Jon played the game he needed to play. I would have loved to have seen him just rip into these guys. He
started out doing that.
He did. And there was a couple moments when I felt like he could sense that it wasn't the best coach move to just go in on these guys. He had to pivot. But it was just... I actually really did enjoy the episode, but it was just surprising. There was, to me, a couple unprecedented moments in this episode. Most specifically, Spencer, the general manager, walking out, and then Jon saying nothing about it the next day.
When he was back.
When he was back, Jon was just like, and Spencer, you're back. And I was surprised Jon didn't...
Well, I think Jon wasn't informed, and he said that the next day to the chef. He said, hey, my bad. You were not trained. Like, there was nothing really set up.
Right. Well, that was Chris, and I feel like
I think that was overall with Spencer as well.
Yeah.
Spencer wasn't...
equipped.
Yeah, I think he was managing the bar. I don't think he was managing the whole place. I just feel like it was two cool musicians who were laid back and said, hey, let's open a bar. And they did it. I wonder if one of them came from family money.
I wondered that too.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he's the money guy, so he doesn't have to be in there doing the grunt work. He's the 51%.
Right.
And the other 49% has to do some of the work. But none of it's being done. And if this money's not been earned, well, chances are pretty strong that it's not going to be taken care of.
Right.
Or, I don't want to be disrespectful, maybe there was a record deal. Maybe they made money in music. But then even when you make money that way, sometimes you don't think it's real.
We see that a lot in this business, Kev. And the entertainment industry is the type of business where you get these injections, these steroid shots of money if you sell or you option something, and people usually aren't equipped to handle that. It's a gig, It's a gig economy. So writers will sell something, feel like they have this runway to, buy a new huge flat screen TV, and then all of a sudden that option fee that's gone. So if these guys got a recording contract, that injection of money that they used to put into the bar, maybe they weren't equipped to actually work hard with it. Right. I feel like you sometimes see that.
Yeah, and so I think that and remember, we're not there for the 5 or 6 days, so we don't know if Jon saw something in them to be like, okay, they're good guys. They're just really young.
Right.
And they being young, they're carrying that kind of punk-ish attitude that is supposed to go along with being a rock star or a music star or a musician. So, but I think he may have seen a sweetness underneath that we didn't see.
Well, yeah, and I did see it a little bit. I want to credit casting. I think part of we're talking about how this season still feels as radical as it did on day one. And I think it's because we are getting a really interesting and diverse kind of crop of people. Like, I feel like, at least since I've started watching Bar Rescue, I haven't seen like a young college town bar with these kind of punk, bearded hipster millennial owners. Like, this feels like a new...
I loved it. Yeah, that's why I loved it. And
it was interesting.
Austin is like, it's almost a no-fail place.
Right.
I guess, or... could be the other way because there's so much competition.
Right.
You got to be on your game, which these guys weren't. But, there's also something in production, too, with this. If Jon does the walkout, which we've seen him do 3 times in the history of this show, he's got it in his back pocket, but it's a big pain in the effing ass to do the walkout.
Right.
It's a big company move. They've set up. They have everyone, all the crews there for days. They've installed the cameras, people working hard behind the scenes. It's really hard for him to actually follow through with that walkout. It's a great threat. He's followed through on that threat. So it's a credible threat, but it's really hard. And, and he's human.
Right.
I mean, I'm tired at this point for him. And I mean, I have to think, like, do I really want to walk out on these guys?
Yeah.
Because now we don't have an episode.
Right.
So it's all going to go in the barrel. And I got to schlep my ass to another bar with another group of, more than likely, assholes.
Yeah.
So why don't I just deal with these assholes and wrap it up?
And he did a great job. And
it turned out they weren't bad guys.
No, they weren't. The other thing that was crazy to me, though,
so he was right then with his
Jon was
judgment.
right. I mean, Jon's always right. Jon's got great intuition. I think because these guys had never been yelled at before, I was thinking it'd be really fun to see them get the true Jon Taffer chew out, just because especially long hair Henry would not have been able to.
Well, millennials just,
you can't
yell at them because you guys have not been yelled at.
Jon's going to court if he yells too much at these
guys.
Yeah.
I mean, or they walk out like the other kid did. I'm out.
Right.
I'm out of here.
I did like the episode a lot. It was just, the other thing that I was shocked by was there was that moment when Jon was like, well, who's responsible for this? And Henry goes, I mean, I feel like Miles is the one who should be. And Jon's like, okay, then Miles.
Then Miles, you're it. Yes, that was a little awkward to me.
It was strange. It wasn't bad.
But
I
think that we don't know the whole story.
Yeah, we don't.
I think the other guy wrote the check and said, hey, I'm in on this, dude. I'll put up the money. You do the work.
And yeah, in
I think
fairness,
that's what it is.
And
that's why Jon was so easy with it.
Get it.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to focus on you then, rightfully.
Yeah, it does make sense because Henry was the majority stakeholder in the bar. He's the 51% owner. So at the end of the day, he can delegate that to Miles if he wants, I
think there's a story that we don't know.
Yeah. But it sounds like we both liked the episode a lot. I thought it was really interesting.
I loved it.
I loved it too, and I can't wait to talk about this renovation. But that's not till the end of the episode, guys, because we not only cover the episode of Bar Rescue here, we also have our Taffer takeaways, where we give you the biggest lesson that Jon taught us as viewers, and we have our Bar Rescue updates. And Kevin, I don't want to break your heart, but it's not looking great.
Oh, no.
But that's coming later in the show, so make sure you stick around and we'll get to it. So we are in San Marcos, California. This is a college town that's a part of the UC college infrastructure. So, there's UC Fullerton, there's UC San Diego. This is UC San Marcos. I didn't realize there's like 16 University of Californias. Because there's the 8 USCs, and then there's like the 16 UCs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was crazy. The California public school system with universities is so far-reaching, which I always forget about.
Wait, so where were they?
They're not. It feels like Austin. I thought the same thing.
Oh my God, it's not Austin?
No. We're in California for this one. And it really felt like a hipster Texas town.
Yeah, where in California?
San Marcos.
Oh, okay.
Which, do you want to Google kind of where that is, Steven? We'll pull up a map for you guys for who you're viewing. I think it's kind of close to San Diego.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because San Diego, huge college town.
Yes.
There's Pacific Beach, Ocean Beach, that are just lined with bars.
Yeah, so we're looking for San Marcos, Texas. Yeah, here we go. Close to the ocean. Kind of between LA and San Diego. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but a college town. And it was interesting because we'll get into the more specific demographics of this college town.
I'm blown away by that.
Yeah.
thought for sure we were in Texas.
It felt exactly like Austin.
Okay.
Especially because we've been in Texas.
Right.
So we're at the Kiva Bar and Lounge, which we mentioned is co-owned by Henry and Miles, whose band Holding Space we heard at the beginning of the show. They are best friends from college, co-founders of this band, and their next venture is this bar, Kiva Bar and Lounge. They developed the bar to be also a venue. So it's sort of the center point and the highlight of this bar is the stage. On day one, they had a great crowd, and since then, it's been all downhill. Classic neglectful bar owners, right? Giving their friends shots, not managing well. And this was their playground.
There was zero management.
Yes, this was their playground, not their business.
This could actually be the least managed bar in Bar Rescue.
I could see it in its own way.
We've had low management. We've had horrible management.
Abusive management.
We've had abusive management.
Yeah.
This seemed like non-management.
This was, hey, bitches.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle it ran the way it did.
These guys literally would just come in, sit down on the other side of the bar, and just drink.
And give away drinks.
And just give away drinks.
Wait. It still sounds amazing.
It sounds
I know
nice,
John doesn't like this, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
I want to open a bar and just give away drinks and drink for free with my friends. I feel like it'd be a great year run.
It'd be a great year. That's maybe all the runway. But that's what this was truly for these guys. They purchased a bar so that they could become customers at the bar. They forgot that they were also running the bar. They would just go and show up and bring their friends and truly act like they were just customers of the bar. They just weren't. I know.
That's not amazing.
Well, the quote that I loved came from, I have the bartender's names right here, came from Edward, who says, yeah, my first check here was for $32 and it bounced when I tried to cash.
Yep. And by the way, it's just hilarious to all of them.
Yeah.
That's why they all go along with it.
Right. Yeah, and the thing I did appreciate was, even though it's a classic staff of, people who are like circus bros who are just doing what they can.
Circus bros.
There was a sense of loyalty among this crew. And what I really appreciated, which we'll get to in a minute in more depth, but when Jon wanted to fire Chris, they had his back and they said, you know what, it's his fault. Don't let him go. We'll train him. We'll fix it. But these guys had good hearts.
I love that. Yeah.
And that's actually rare. Normally when Jon wants to fire someone, that person's getting fired.
No, not really. If you watch the whole show, they'll go the other way and fight with Jon.
Yeah.
They won't say, hey, let us train him. Like, these kids took ownership in the correct way, and they made the correct adjustment. Most of the time they go, I can't. He's like family. He's been with us for so long. Usually they do fight it. Mm-hmm. That's part of the dysfunctional system.
Yeah, but
you're used to the newer episodes where people are falling in line because they've seen so many bar rescues.
Enough.
Yeah. But generally it's like, no, they want to, it's like you, Jeff. I would say, no, keep Jeff.
Right.
If Taffer came in.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I would think
it's on air, so if my job's ever threatened, I can pull up this clip and be like, Keven, you said. So in terms of who we have on Recon, we have Jon, of course, and we have our mixologist and our chef, Ashley Clark, with her rock and roll attitude and wicked craft cocktails, and Vic Vegas, Sin City icon, who makes simple sandwiches.
So Vic is a longtime bar rescue guy. Yeah, he's over in the kitchen. Yeah, he's over in the holy trinity of the great bar rescue kitchen men.
Yeah,
and he's a friend of Jon's.
I could tell,
and it's great. And it's great you bring him in for this.
This was a good. Both of these, I felt like had
Ashley. We've seen before. It's usually you want Ashley or Lisa Marie Joyce in on these situations because they can handle this kind of.
They can handle sort of the rebellious youngsters. I feel like both of them were sort of geared. Like they were a little more reckless than some of our other experts, which isn't bad. It's just
love it.
Jon's smart. Jon knew to pair this crew up for this task specifically. This is my first time seeing Ashley. I liked her.
Yeah.
She was fun.
I think it's the second or third time we've had her on.
Okay.
And she's more confident now in this appearance than in the past, which it just takes a little time. But
definitely.
She got right in there.
She was great. I liked her drinks that she pitched. So the main issue during Recon was Chris the chef, kitchen manager.
Oh, boy.
Keven, how would you feel if you knew?
I would love it. I would think it was amazing. I think it would make a fine marinade.
Yeah.
I love his sweat.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think of your favorite restaurants in the Valley. I'm sure you're hoping.
I'm just saying, anytime you guys go into a bar and you see it's dirty, just know that it's like this show. If it's done anything, it reveals to you that's what you're getting from everybody.
Wow, Kev, I don't know if I know. I want to know that. I don't know if I want to.
Well, you see it on the show every week. Why would it be any different? So look around. That means like somebody doesn't care.
Yeah, and this was interesting because Chris clearly was not trained at all. But it's funny, they gave him a big pass because they're like, well, Chris didn't know. And I'm like, Chris didn't know that you can't take a dish towel, wipe your whole body with it, and set it next to the food. I'm like, I appreciate you guys for being generous with Chris, but hey, you can't do that.
You're a millennial. You understand.
Yeah.
You didn't know. You always get a pass.
You always do. I'm an M-I-L-L-E.
M-I-L-L-E. And an I-L spells millennial. That's me.
I take full responsibility.
I take full responsibility. Oh, and how many times that's the other millennial line. They kept pulling that out too, which was so great. I take full responsibility. Which they did.
They did.
But they made the adjustments. A lot of times it's the take full responsibility, and then they go, thank you. Yeah, now they want all the applause and the roses to fall at their feet. And it's like, no, you take full responsibility, but the damage has been done. You're going to repair the damage.
Now, fix it.
Yeah.
So that was mostly, we got also some classic dirty corners with bugs. The one cool thing that we haven't touched on yet was Kiva was formerly a morgue, and we did get to see their basement where they used to keep the bodies. What a cool spot for a bar. We haven't talked about this yet.
And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, please, please, please lean into this, which of course, by the end we learned that we do. But I was like, I saw that as such a cool thing. Got to use that.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, cool-looking red brick building that was a former morgue or funeral home.
Yeah, so cool.
Got to use that.
And we did have a lot of death in this bar, but it was mostly bugs and cockroaches sitting in the corners of the bar. Yeah. Classic Recon, not well taken care of.
But the bones of the bar, I liked the long ramp in.
Yeah.
And I thought the outside was cool.
Yeah.
I like the bones of this bar. I like you have red brick on the wall, real brick.
It was beautiful.
Good bones, like compared to what we deal with the paneling and the green paint of last week.
And even the interior, Kev, wasn't bad.
No, again, bones were good.
Yeah. And the only other major issues with Recon were this bar staff just didn't really know what they were doing. No. Particularly Tara, who had a nice redemption arc in this episode. She didn't know how to make a daiquiri or
pour a beer. What? She was, but again, we've seen this before.
Yeah, it wasn't not her fault. She just wasn't properly trained. So Jon comes in, and I almost felt like Jon was thrown a little bit by how these guys reacted. Like, I felt like Jon hasn't done as much direct consulting with millennials as you have, Keven.
No, none. And furthermore, far less. And then Jon's dealt with a lot of musicians from back of the Troubadour.
Yes.
But
not millennial musicians.
Yeah, no, whole different scam. And I'm sure they were high too.
Yeah.
We
know they were drunk.
The one with the beard, he seemed high.
He did seem high because he just couldn't process the fact that he was being yelled at.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it was beautiful. Like I gotta get high more. Is that what happens?
Maybe. I would not necessarily be the one to ask.
Yeah, when you're yelling at people, like that's right. They just kind of giggle.
Well, and that was what was so funny was you've seen rage, you've seen sadness. Truly, Henry was confused. He was like, "Why am I being yelled at right now?" Like he was. I think he might have been stoned. That's a great hypothesis, Keven. So Jon had to pivot, and I think Jon said, "Clearly, my message isn't being received." He tried to fire Chris, found out that it wasn't Chris's fault, and gave the guys a chance and said, this place better be clean by tomorrow. And I'll give Chris a second chance if we can get him ready to go by tomorrow. And I want to see you guys in better shape for tomorrow, and then we'll see what we can do with this bar. And in a very smart way, he did give them the ultimatum of like, both of us know that if we don't proceed with this bar is closing. So you guys need to decide what you want to do.
Right.
I'll be here tomorrow and we can see. What's interesting, though, is I don't really feel like they cleaned the place or really trained Chris because for the rest of the episode, they couldn't even make a sandwich on the grill because it was so dirty.
Yeah, okay, because there was a couple things going on with that grill. I think they cleaned it to the naked eye.
Yes.
But you see how it was black? Mm-hmm. It should be silver.
Yeah.
So a situation like that, you see where they took a brick to it?
Yeah.
To grind it out, you would want to put on a heavy-duty oven cleaner. You'd want to get a steel
wool.
Not even a steel brush.
Wow.
Okay? And so this is my jam. Back in the carny business, we had, these sausage grills all the time we would get, and to restore them. And so, yeah, they had to get it back down to the silver. And I bet you anything, this is probably 2102, but I think that the gas probably, wasn't going through the system to burn evenly. Maybe it was a little clogged with grease to certain places. And that can happen, or soot builds up in the gas lines, and then you don't get a really even burn.
That can vary the consistency of the heat.
So it was all that stuff going on.
I've gotten kind of nerdy about cooking and baking in the last years. I got married in August, so I'm adopting my domestic goy.
Yeah, you have to.
My new domestic goy life. But I've had a lot of fun nerding out about the science of cooking and baking, and that stuff's important. An even burn, and you know.
And so again, to the naked eye, it did look clean, because I did look around the kitchen. It looked like they did clean it. But that's a different kind of cleaning.
And it might have been a millennial clean, which isn't always a thorough clean.
Yeah, it's millennial.
They had to get the millennial goo off of the stove, and they did their best. So we come back in the next day. Jon's ready to teach, and we go into our first training. And I like what we're pitching in terms of cocktails. The first thing that Ashley is pitching is this peach sour, which is kind of like a whiskey sour, but with peach. I thought it looked pretty good.
It's fine by me, Jeff. Blah 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 on the drinks. The drink, because kids think the drinks. I know you're into them because you like it from your cruise ship, and you like mixology. So go run through your drinks. They always frustrate me, because I know these bartenders never can get them right after the people.
They're set up to fail.
Rarely, I don't think they keep them going.
Well, and here's the other thing that I will say: for a college bar, I was surprised they were pushing sort of like these skull ice cubes and even garnishes, because in my experience with college bars, it's just get the drink out.
Well, the smartest thing was the big giant, those pitchers they created.
Beer towers.
Yeah, that was smart.
One of my favorite bars in college did beer towers, so that was a very nostalgic
moment.
Yeah,
you want that.
My favorite college cocktail I had when I went to Miami University in Ohio, Kev, was called a trash can. It was basically kind of like a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, like everything in there. Ooh.
Everything in it. And then what they would do is
I'm getting hungover even thinking about it.
Open a can of Red Bull and just stick it in upside down. And it was in a big trough.
How delicious.
Delicious. That was what got me through my sophomore year of college. Okay, so and then we also learned about this new kind of gourmet grilled cheese sandwich. It's kind of like a patty melt that we're being pitched.
Which looked amazing.
Looked great.
Until we went to the stress test, and
we were unable to produce.
Yeah, shutting down the grill during stress test. I don't even know if we'd have to look in the archives. I don't know if we've ever seen a kitchen shut down during stress test.
Yeah, that was a new one. I at least have not seen that. I'm confident saying that. What was interesting is I've never seen the technique of getting the cheese on the bread, starting the grill with both the meat and the cheese, and then letting the patty actually cook the cheese inside.
Yeah, smart.
It was smart. It's efficient, which was smart. You could tell that Vic
Vega.
Vic had a lot of experience with this. Stress test, pretty classic stress test, right?
Yeah, fail.
A fail.
Kitchen shut down, and then the bartenders just couldn't make the drinks.
The bartenders could not make the drink in time. And it's funny, God bless Tara, but she just did not have the intuition to be on her game, where they'd go, we need 4 black lemonades. And then, actually, this was later in the show. But in this example, it's the peach sours. And then she starts making 1 peach sour at a time. And Ashley says, you can make 4 at a time. You don't need to just do 1. And then she goes, I forgot. And then later they come back and says, make multiple drinks. She goes, oh yeah, I totally forgot. My favorite was when Ashley started to put the drink directly into the shaker, which you don't want to do. And Ashley says, no, you can't do that. And then immediately she goes, I'm sorry. And then does it again. Again. So they just weren't ready for this stress test.
Nope.
So and then Jon asks, does Henry even care enough to fight for his own business? At this point, do you think he cared enough to fight for his own business?
I mean, yeah, in the moment, the adrenaline's going, the cameras, and and we're going to get some promo for the band. Yeah, in that moment, yes. But, in the long haul,
yeah, well, we'll get to that during bar rescue
not
updates.
So much.
So what was interesting was the kitchen was shut down first. They kept the bar going, but the bar could no longer sustain the crowd because they ran out of glasses, which was also a new one.
No, we've seen that before.
Oh, we have seen that one.
We
Okay.
have seen that.
That was definitely a bummer.
Still outstanding.
It's outstanding. So I expected the stress test to go this way. And you know what, Kev? I need to apologize and quickly correct. I'm looking at my notes. The peach sour was the second drink we were pitched.
Oh, of course.
The black lemonade, which I thought was kind of cool.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Black
it had luster dust
That's
in it.
right. No, black lemonade, because black lemonade, black lemonade, the non-alcoholic version,
I don't know if I've seen it, Kev.
Yeah, it's a charcoal lemonade.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be very healthy for you. And so I like that. I think that one works for me.
Yeah, it was cool.
And by the way, if you're in college, that's fun. We're going to have black lemonades at the morgue.
And fast. That was the thing.
So yes.
With these peach sours, they were garnished, which...
Just with all these bum bars, I'm sorry.
I know.
You got to go simple and speed.
Especially college bar.
And then college bar and gimmick.
I was surprised they weren't serving these in plastic. I feel like with college bars, I'm used to just...
It should have been plastic.
Yeah, I feel like that's how you can get it out fast.
Same with also with when you have music playing and things like that, plastic's better. Mm-hmm. You don't want to throw drinks,
Definitely.
Broken glasses.
So with this second grilled cheese sandwich, after we get another clean grill, and this is the other thing I didn't know, Kevin, who cleaned the grill the second time? Because all of a sudden the grill was clean.
We saw some hands with a brick.
We saw some hands. I just hope it wasn't a PA.
Interesting. Oh, come on.
I don't know. Normally we see the owners getting in there. I don't know. Hopefully it was them.
I feel like Jon would use that moment.
Yeah.
If they didn't.
If they needed it, yeah.
I think it's a good TV moment to get in there and go, what?
We're using an intern from our production staff to
you don't care enough about your
grill.
business.
Yeah, you're right. So hopefully it was them, but we do get this amazing second sandwich, which was kind of a spin on a pizza. It was provolone, pepperoni, and tomato.
Good job.
Thought it looked really good.
And by the way, easy.
Easy.
Go to the supermarket, get that. You know what I mean? Just easy to put that out every night.
Grilled sandwiches are such a good idea for a college bar.
Yeah.
Because they're easy and they're fast.
Yep. Boom.
And you're drunk. And that's the ideal drunk food.
Yeah.
Something grilled, something cheesy,
100%.
delicious. So then we have this is the moment I loved in the episode. It was fast, but whenever we get a chance to watch Jon strategize the renovation, talk about demographics, talk about location.
That's always my favorite part.
Me too. I wish they would spend more time on this segment.
I wonder, you know what? I wonder if the reports, if it's just for the DIY geeks like me that like it so much. Maybe that's why they don't.
It's funny though, because I like it too, but I guess I'm sort of a producer nerd here too, so that's interesting for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you liked it.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not as DIY, but
I love when the plans come out and it's like, I'll get the coffee and and the big fat marker. But if you see all the yellow dots, they really do have a shot. I mean, the brick building, what this place is going to become. This bar had a shot.
It sure did. It had a shot.
You're killing me
dun, dun.
with the bar rescue updates.
We're getting there.
But yeah, I love that.
I loved it too. And we learned that because this is a college town, low median income, and I think the median age is like 23. Like everyone is young because it's a college town here. So reminded me a lot of where I went to school, to be totally honest. Even their downtown area. We called it Uptown, but pretty similar. So we get to
Renovation finally.
Yeah, we had our quick powwow. Yeah, we had our sit down.
The usual sit down.
Yeah, this was productive. Jon's just encouraging these guys to be partners.
Well, they were saying how much they actually liked him in these few days. Like, you're my favorite guy now, which I thought was sweet. I thought it was nice.
A lot of aimless children or adults who act like children, they need a parental figure. They need to be disciplined. They need structure. Yes. So it reminded me a lot of that moment when, even if you resent it at the time, that structure is really meaningful to the lost. So then we get the renovation. First thing we see, the name of the bar has changed from Kiva to the Morgue. Instantly brilliant.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Cleaned up the outside, added some lights. I'm going to say this. I didn't like getting rid of the awning in favor of the flat sign.
Yeah, it was an awning.
It was an awning, but you never know what legal reasons and what they can do in the 4 or 5 days. But I always bum out the signs. That's my only knock on the show, is that the signs sometimes, but it's because of these strip malls of these places. These cities have strict rules on the signage, number one. And number two, the turnaround time to have it made. So I was a little bummed with that. Other than that, yeah, the outside cleaned up, picnic tables out there. So, this was like so much potential.
Then they really took advantage of this potential.
I mean, And then you go inside, and I just loved it. I was blown away. I love the colors. I love the photo booth area. I thought the stage was lit gorgeous. The booths just it felt like Morgue meets rock and roll.
Absolutely. Particularly
and tell me
you
in your college you wouldn't want to go to that bar.
Totally.
Right?
Or even if it wasn't necessarily my scene, anyone who loves live music bars is there in a heartbeat. I particularly loved the graffiti. It kind of had like a Banksy art, like it was pulled together through the art decoration.
100%. And he gave credit. I should have wrote down who the artist was. He gave him credit at the end.
He did. I promise you guys, I will hop onto YouTube after this and comment. The top comment's going to be whoever this artistic
he did a great
genius
job.
behind
He did a wonderful job.
It kind of was cool as it was a mix between rock and roll and sort of Day of the Dead, which I feel like was the vibe they were going for in the bar. Very, very cool stuff. Love the photo booth. We have karaoke now, which when you have a stage and a college town, that's brilliant. What I would do if I owned this bar was do live band karaoke once a week is what I would put in the bar. Have you ever done live band karaoke before?
No, tell me about this live band.
Really, really
we have
fun.
to tell Jon Taffer.
I'll have to tell Jon Taffer. It's karaoke, and you have a songbook, but you have a band backing you. So you make a request to the band, and you're the lead singer of that band while you do. It's a very LA because everyone out here is a narcissistic performer. But
yeah, you know what? I like it. I don't love it because I still have to hire a band.
That's true. You pay to play though. So whereas with karaoke, you can just go up if you want to sing with the band. It's $10.
So that's maybe how the band gets compensated.
That's how the band gets comped. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I loved everything about it. Liked the new bar. The lighting above the pool tables looked great. Kind of industrial.
Reskinning the pool tables to like a darker red over the green. I mean, just so freaking cool. I love it. That is my favorite part. I really wish we still saw more of the DIY.
I know. I do too.
But they really nailed it. They had good bones to work with, and they 1,000% improved it. Even greater. And great idea with Morgue.
So here's my question. How do you think it actually went on opening night? Because I felt like there was a little bit of time where I was worried.
Well, it was weird because he was like, I don't understand. They're not getting it. And
he's like, I'm actually disappointed.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, no. This is going to nosedive. Then they came out of it okay. Mm-hmm. At least we saw.
We were told they came out of it okay.
Uh-oh, Chongo.
But it was good. I love the renovation. We learned that sales are steady.
Yeah, very generic. 6 weeks later, sales are steady, drinks are tasty.
Yeah.
Like it was.
So
okay. So what should we go to? Do we go to Bar SQ updates and then we'll go to...
I think we need to go to Bar SQ updates and then go to
takeaways?
I think we go to our Bar SQ updates first.
I'm dying to. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Because we've sort of danced around it.
We've danced.
The sales are steady. Drinks exist is like what we get at the end of this. So it's no longer called the Morgue. It's called Kiva once again. The guys bailed on the name. And we saw on Facebook that they actually posted about this.
Oh, here we go.
So in August of 2018, 2 months after the makeover, the bar posted the following message on Facebook announcing that they were changing their name back to Kiva Bar and Lounge.
Because it was so successful.
Friends and family, we have realized very clearly that the Morgue is where bars go to die. And Kiva was a shining beacon of local community that needs to thrive.
Nice.
We originally wanted to keep the name to garner attention from the show, but we found out the show isn't airing till next year, and the Morgue is just not our vibe. We appreciated the opportunity... We appreciated the opportunity to be involved with the show and Jon's assistance, but we're excited to continue to feature awesome local bands. We appreciate everyone's support since we have opened our doors, and we can't wait to bring you a lot of great music, karaoke, and amazing events all year long. We have many, many negative reviews for Kiva.
Okay.
I don't want to be... I'll just read one.
Can we get a positive one?
Well, I'll start with the positive. We have one.
Okay, here we go.
Awesome place, super friendly staff, great activities and beer selection and live music. My only complaint would be that the music was a little loud. That's it.
Okay, great. Okay, so, kind of a win. Oh, what? There's more?
Yes, there's more. I've been here previously before, and now I remembered why I stopped going. There's a bartender who is extremely rude and always has looked past us when being served. I would literally have to try and wave him down after he would get others individual drinks. I had then waved him down, stating I needed another drink, and he gave me a thumbs up. He completely ignored my request, started serving everyone else, until I waved him down again, since he wouldn't even look my way. Finally, a nice young lady, presumably Tara, came and checked on me, but he's always been like this with me and certain friends. IDK what his problem is.
All right, that's not so bad. What else? Briefly.
Besides that, the parking sucks. Seems like it only caters to lame college kids who think they're the bee's knees. Terrible sound, really disgusting, and I don't know how the health department hasn't come to shut them down. The most rude bartenders, uncouth establishment, do not go here.
All right, what else?
Overpriced drinks, usually slow service, unless you're friends with the bartenders. Only thing this place has going for it is that they do have local metal bands play. Other than that, it doesn't do anything better than any other bar around here. And Kev, I gotta say I'm confused, because this says live in Dallas and went there and played pool. But I Googled this location, it said San Marcos, California. Maybe we're in San Marcos, Texas.
Ah, interesting.
I will post the corrections in the comments if I had us locationally incorrect on this one, and I will get that fixed before we wrap out. It just seems like...
What is the overall thoughts? Usually Bar Rescue updates are good enough to have like an overall...
Here we go. Conclusion. Kiva Lounge and Bar was renamed to the Morgue by Bar Rescue, but the bar changed their name back to Kiva Lounge and Bar shortly after they left. The reviews for the Morgue/Kiva after the Bar Rescue makeover are mostly negative, with a lot of complaints about the bartenders and the service. The few positive reviews seem to like the live music. It seems that the bar didn't put much effort into the new theme put in by Bar Rescue, so we'll have to see if this one lasts.
San Marcos, Texas it is.
San Marcos, Texas. Perfect.
Looked it up.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah, rough. But are you surprised?
Yes, because I thought you were going to tell me that they just went out of business because they're lame. So obviously they're going to go out when they're lame.
Yeah.
I thought that would be the reason. I didn't think these guys were the egomaniac types to want to go back to Kiva. Like, what does Kiva even mean? What does it stand for?
They had so much potential.
It's like...
Such a cool bar.
I mean, I could see, like, change it to the Vault. Or, like, okay, maybe the Morgue makes it too Halloween-y.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to be fair. And maybe it's too much of a negative connotation. I don't know. Maybe it's too goth. But then, make it the Vault.
I like the Vault.
The Vault, you'd be fine.
The Crypt, that's a little gothic.
Yeah, but their main positive is having metal bands play there. And
I know.
Metal band wouldn't want to play at the Morgue.
Right.
I was thinking that too.
I think they also have other bands too, though. So, I mean, again, I'm trying to be devil's advocate, but to go back to Kiva?
Yeah.
Stop.
It's crazy.
And... yeah, and I mean, the staff was lame, and you can't. I don't know. You can't. If these guys are smoking a ton of pot, you're not going to make them be type A. You're not going to make them be, first one in, last one to leave. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, that surprised me. I changed the name, but it doesn't surprise me that the place is, poorly reviewed and back to being a dump. So another wasted effort, but we were entertained.
It was a great episode, and it's always cool to see these renovations. It's just so disappointing to hear when people don't seize the day with these, such a great opportunity.
We see it every week on the show, which is, what makes me want to vomit. But then also I keep coming back for more.
Always.
And like predictions for next week, Steven.
I'm excited for these predictions.
Okay, so Jeff, you always just rifle through, so you DVR, so you don't see the...
I caught it this time.
Okay. You can see in this guy's look now. I'm hoping this guy is like the cockroach man. You can see it in his eyes. He's a control freak, but a control freak loser. Like I always get the control freak that wants everything, all the engines, the trains running on time, and there's that control freak. But then there's the exquisite control freak who's a control freak, but a complete moron. So
a sociopath control freak.
I'm not saying that. That's another kind of control freak. But usually sociopath, then it's really for their socio gains. So,
yes.
So, but although you're right, the cockroach man was socio, but he wasn't really. Yeah, he was a little control freak too. With this guy, I just see something in his eyes. He just looks
off.
He looks off, and it's his way or the highway, and his way is the shit way. I've had people I've partnered with making movies like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, like it has to be your way, and you're a moron.
Right.
Oh shit. Like you're an OCD, control freak over your moronic ends.
A control freak with bad instincts, that's a tough. That's hard.
And that we've seen it a million times in the show. Wonder Bar, Cockroach Man. We've seen it probably 30 or 40% of the episodes. But I think that's going to give us something pretty good.
I'm looking forward to it. I will say, Kev, what I want is for Jon to really go in. We've kind of got a softer version of J Taff, with that, which I've appreciated.
I wonder if he's just not getting tired, Jeff.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
Mean,
and the show's keeping it fresh, to their credit.
You're a younger guy.
Yeah.
But can you imagine 120 times going into these small towns? You're staying at it's Jon, he's well-off guy.
Right.
And he's most of the time he's staying at like an America's Finest or like he's like staying.
The Ramada?
Yeah, not even. He's lucky if he gets a Ramada. Because I've done a couple of these with him and I stayed at a couple of hotels. And, it's the best of what it can be. He's an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's pulling these 18-hour days with these, with these people who are most of the time addicted, crazy, disrespectful, and think of the energy drain.
Oof.
So so you can see why he might be softening up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, it'll be interesting. What I'm looking forward to is how the show will continue to keep itself fresh.
You have to keep getting us wackadoodles.
Getting us wackadoodles, but also like not being afraid to risk the format. That's what I've appreciated this season. So I'm looking forward to being surprised next week because I think we've been surprised for the last 5-6 weeks in the best of ways. So it'll be great.
Yeah, I think maybe they have backup bars.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to have more in production wise. And maybe they do. But if they have more backup bars on call that are so close by, then we can get more walkouts.
Yeah. Well, and the walkouts
and by the way, keep the walkout in the episode.
Yeah.
Just burn up 11 minutes, walk out. You still got however many 30 minutes left to do.
To revise the next bar.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been our Bar Rescue show. My name is Jeff Graham. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you guys who are pining for our Taffer takeaways, mine would be, just as we make our way out, that as a manager, you need to own up if there's a lapse in workflow and it's on you.
You need to take full responsibility.
If you haven't trained your managees properly. And I promise you guys 2 things in the comment down below. I will, first of all, make sure I find out this graffiti artist who deserves the credit for this beautiful renovation. Yeah. And I will figure out what college is in San Marcos, Texas, because I think I misspoke there. So I will make sure I correct that in the comments. Speaking of, I urge you guys to hop in those comments down below too. We love engaging with you guys. We're the Conversation Network here at AfterBuzz TV. And you can catch us on YouTube, or if you're listening to our podcast, we really appreciate it. We'd really appreciate those 5 stars from you on iTunes. It helps upvote our show, and we are obsessed with Bar Rescue, and it spreads the word about our after show. So we would really appreciate it if you guys could do that. If you guys want to connect with me on Twitter, you can do that at Jeffrey C. Graham. Kevin, how about you?
I'm at Undergaro, and I'm proud of the Billions after show that we do here. I think there's a lot of crossover.
Great.
Between Bar Rescue fans and Billions. And look out for our Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Season 2, which will be dropping over the next couple of days, I believe. So I'm really super excited about that.
Absolutely. If you guys haven't caught Cobra Kai, it's a really hidden gem. It's a wonderful show. Yeah, I watched season 1.
It's unbelievable.
It's very, very good and much better than it should be.
You shouldn't have said that.
Because now I'm going to get...
Oh, yeah, I think you're going to be watching it Wednesday and joining me on the panel.
I can't complain.
I'm so excited.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Bar Rescue After Show and for tuning into AfterBuzz TV. We'll see you next week here. Thanks for tuning in.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.